When I was a policeman, I thought I had seen it all. The gruesome crime scenes, the chilling confessions, and the haunted eyes of victims. But nothing could have prepared me for the night that changed everything. A night I would never forget. It was a cold winter evening, and the city streets were cloaked in darkness. I was patrolling alone, the silence broken only by the occasional crackling of the police radio. As I navigated the desolate alleyways, an anonymous call came in, reporting strange noises and flickering lights at the abandoned Hawkins mansion on the outskirts of town. Curiosity piqued. I decided to investigate. The mansion was notorious for its tragic history, a place where madness and despair had consumed the Hawkins family. Over the years, it had become a local legend, attracting thrill seekers and ghost hunters. As I approached the imposing structure, an eerie feeling washed over me. The air seemed to thicken with every step, and the chilling wind whispered haunting melodies through the broken windows. Ignoring the unease, I entered the decaying mansion, my flashlight cutting through the darkness. The grandeur of its past had long faded, leaving behind a forsaken shell of its former glory. The walls bore the scars of time, and the creaking floorboards groaned under my weight. Suddenly, a strange noise echoed through the corridor, an otherworldly wail that sent shivers down my spine. I tightened my grip on my service weapon, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hello?" I called out, my voice barely audible above the echoing moans. "Is anyone there?" No response came, only the haunting echoes of my own voice. I proceeded cautiously, the dim light revealing glimpses of shattered portraits and torn wallpaper, each a poignant reminder of the mansion's tragic past. Then a flicker of movement caught my eye, a fleeting shadow disappearing into the darkness. I pursued the figure, navigating through the labyrinth of rooms and hallways. It was then that I stumbled upon an old, decrepit study. The study was in shambles, a testament to the chaos that had consumed the Hawkins family. Among the debris, I discovered a tattered journal, yellowed pages filled with cryptic writings and the tormented musings of a mind on the brink of insanity. As I read the journal, a sense of dread washed over me. It spoke of an otherworldly presence that plagued the mansion, an entity that fed on fear and despair, claiming the lives of the Hawkins family one by one. The chilling revelation was interrupted by a blood-curdling scream that reverberated through the mansion's desolate halls. Heart pounding, I rushed towards the source of the cry, my flashlight guiding the way. In one of the rooms, I found a woman, pale, disheveled, and trembling with terror. She claimed to be a paranormal investigator who had come to unravel the mysteries of the Hawkins mansion, but her fear was undeniable, and I knew she had encountered something beyond her understanding. Together, we continued to explore the mansion, uncovering more of its sinister secrets. As we delved deeper into its haunted history, the malevolent presence seemed to grow stronger, drawing on our fear and vulnerability. Time lost meaning within those haunted walls, and the mansion itself seemed to shift and distort around us. Reality blended with nightmare, and I could no longer trust my own senses. At the mansion's heart, we encountered a ghastly apparition, an ethereal figure with hollow eyes and a chilling aura. The air turned frigid, and the room pulsated with an unnatural energy. The investigator and I stood paralyzed, helpless against the malevolent force. In the face of unspeakable horror, I drew upon my training and summoned every ounce of courage within me. I vowed not to let fear consume me as it had the Hawkins family. With a surge of determination, I shouted, "Leave this place, you have no power here." For a moment that felt like an eternity, the mansion trembled, as if battling the malevolent entity within. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the ghostly figure dissipated into nothingness. The mansion fell silent once more, the haunting presence now gone. The investigator and I stumbled out of the cursed house, gasping for breath and trembling with the weight of what we had witnessed. From that night on, I knew that evil could take many forms, lurking in the shadows and feeding on our deepest fears. The Hawkins mansion had taught me that sometimes the scariest things in this world were not the monsters we hunted, but the darkness that could take root in the human soul. As a cop, I swore to protect and serve, but that night I realized that sometimes the greatest battles were fought within ourselves, against the fears that threatened to consume us, just like they had consumed the tormented souls of the Hawkins family in that cursed mansion. have been a policeman in Utah for 11 years. I have had scary situations, but the story I am going to tell today was very terrifying. In 2018, I received a call from a girl who was 20 kilometers away from me. Her voice trembled as she described a chilling encounter she had while hiking in the remote woods. She claimed to have witnessed a group of individuals performing some kind of ritualistic ceremony, and she was convinced that they were up to something sinister. Sensing the urgency in her voice, I assured her that I would investigate the matter immediately and instructed her to stay put until I arrived. I quickly informed my fellow officers about the situation and asked for backup. As I drove towards the location, the setting sun cast long shadows across the desolate road, and an eerie feeling gnawed at my gut. The girl's description of the woods was enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. It was an area known for its uncharted territory, deep ravines, and legends of strange occurrences. As I approached the designated coordinates, I noticed an unsettling stillness in the air. The usual sounds of nature were absent, leaving an unsettling silence in their wake. The only noise I heard was the sound of my own breath and the thumping of my heart. My instincts told me that something was terribly wrong. The dense foliage surrounded me like a living entity, and it seemed as though the woods themselves were watching me. My radio crackled, and my fellow officers confirmed that they were close behind. I took a deep breath, trying to quell my unease, and ventured further into the woods. With every step, the trees seemed to close in, forming an ominous canopy overhead. The girl's location appeared to be just beyond a hill, and as I reached its summit, my heart sank. In a clearing below, I saw a group of figures dressed in hooded robes, circling a roaring fire. The scene was surreal, like something out of a horror movie. I radioed my team, and they informed me that they were minutes away. I decided to wait for them before making my move. Hiding behind the thick vegetation, I watched the eerie ceremony unfold. The chanting of the hooded figures sent a chill down my spine, and the smell of burning incense hung heavy in the air. As my team arrived, we devised a plan to approach the group cautiously. However, before we could execute it, the situation took a sinister turn. The hooded figures suddenly stopped their chanting, and in eerie unison they turned their heads towards our direction. It was as if they had sensed our presence all along. Frozen with fear, I watched as they slowly began to advance towards us. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural hue, and their movements were almost inhuman. It was clear that they were not going to let us interfere with their ceremony. We drew our weapons, ready to defend ourselves, but as we took a step forward, the ground beneath us trembled. An unearthly growl echoed through the woods, rattling our bones and sending waves of terror through our bodies. Trees swayed violently, and the very ground seemed to rebel against us. It was as if the woods themselves were protecting the hooded figures, guarding their dark secret from intruders. The growl intensified, and the air around us became charged with an otherworldly energy. Fear paralyzed us, making every move seem futile. In that moment, it dawned on me that we were dealing with something beyond our comprehension, something supernatural. We were caught in the midst of forces we couldn't possibly understand or combat. The hooded figures continued their advance, and we knew we had no choice but to retreat. We ran as fast as we could, the echoes of their haunting chants reverberating in our ears. As we reached the edge of the woods, the growls subsided, and an eerie calm returned. I glanced back one last time, and the hooded figures had vanished without a trace, as if they were never there. We reported the incident to our superiors, but it was clear that they couldn't comprehend the true horror we had witnessed. To this day, that encounter haunts my dreams, and I wonder if there are realms beyond our understanding where ancient powers lie dormant, waiting to be awakened by dark rituals. As a policeman, I have faced countless dangers, but nothing compares to the night I encountered the unknown in those haunted woods. It serves as a chilling reminder that there are mysteries in this world that are best left undisturbed, and that some terrors are far beyond the reach of law and order. I'm a policeman in Florida. My shift started in a dark and cold night. The streets were eerily quiet as I patrolled the small coastal town of Ocean View. Most people were already nestled in the warmth of their homes, seeking refuge from the biting chill that the winter night had brought. As I drove past the outskirts of town, my attention was drawn to an old, dilapidated amusement park, once a vibrant attraction for locals and tourists alike. Its rides now stood frozen in time, their colors faded and structures rusted from years of neglect. Ocean View Amusements had been shut down for over a decade, after an unfortunate accident that claimed the lives of several visitors. Since then, it had become a haunting reminder of the past. My radio crackled to life, breaking my somber thoughts. "Officer Johnson, come in," the dispatcher's voice sounded over the static. "This is Johnson, go ahead," I responded, adjusting the volume on the radio. "We've received an anonymous call reporting strange activity at the old amusement park. Claims of lights and laughter coming from within. It's probably just kids, but we thought you should check it out," the dispatcher informed me. I acknowledged the call and made my way towards the abandoned park. The moonlight filtered through the skeletal trees, casting eerie shadows on the desolate path ahead. As I approached the rusted gates of Ocean View Amusements, a cold gust of wind swept through the air, adding to the unsettling atmosphere. A shiver ran down my spine, but I pushed forward, determined to investigate the source of the mysterious report. I cautiously stepped inside the park, my flashlight cutting through the darkness like a beacon. The abandoned rides creaked and groaned in the wind, creating an ominous soundtrack that seemed to echo through the empty grounds. As I made my way deeper into the park, I noticed a soft glow emanating from one of the rides. Curiosity got the better of me, and I followed the faint light to its source. It led me to the old Ferris wheel, its rusted structure towering above me. To my surprise, I saw faint flickers of light coming from the Ferris wheel's cabins, as if they were lit from within. My heart pounding, I approached the ride cautiously, unsure of what I might find. As I got closer, I could hear the faint sound of laughter, like distant echoes of happier times. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. "Is anyone there?" I called out, my voice echoing into the darkness. "This is Officer Johnson. If someone is here, you need to come out." To my astonishment, the laughter grew louder, and the flickering lights became more pronounced. I felt a chill crawl up my spine as I noticed a figure moving in one of the cabins. Adrenaline coursed through my veins, and I drew my weapon, ready for whatever lay ahead. "Come out with your hands up," I demanded, my voice stern, but instead of a threatening response, the figure stepped into the light, and I could see that it was a young girl, no older than 10. She had curly hair and wore clothes that seemed out of place in this abandoned amusement park. Trembling, she raised her hands in surrender. "I didn't mean any harm, officer. I was just looking for a place to stay," she said timidly. I lowered my weapon, realizing that this was not the suspect I had expected. "What are you doing here all alone?" I asked, my tone softening. The girl's eyes filled with tears as she explained that she had run away from home. Her parents were going through a difficult divorce, and she didn't know where else to go. She had found solace in the abandoned amusement park, feeling drawn to its forgotten beauty. Feeling sympathy for the young girl, I radioed for assistance and stayed with her until another officer arrived. We learned that her name was Lily, and she had been reported missing by her mother just hours before. Lily's mother arrived on the scene, relieved and tearful as she embraced her daughter. As they reunited, I couldn't help but feel a sense of closure for the amusement park. Perhaps the lights and laughter reported in the midnight call weren't paranormal after all. Maybe it was Lily's presence, seeking comfort and refuge in the only place she felt safe during her troubled times. In the following days, the town rallied together to support Lily and her family through their difficult times. Local charities and community members provided resources to help them get back on their feet. The amusement park, once a symbol of tragedy, became a beacon of hope, reminding everyone of the importance of compassion and understanding in times of crisis. Over the weeks that followed, I continued to check in on Lily and her family, ensuring they were receiving the support they needed. Lily's mother expressed her gratitude for finding her daughter and confessed that she had underestimated the pain her divorce had caused Lily. The incident became a catalyst for healing and brought them closer together as a family. As the years passed, Ocean View Amusements underwent a transformation. The community came together to restore and revive the park, turning it into a memorial for the lives lost in the accident years ago. It also became a sanctuary for troubled youth like Lily, offering a safe space and support to those who needed it most. In time, the park regained some of its former glory, becoming a place of laughter and joy once again. The lights and laughter that were once thought to be eerie echoes of the past became a symbol of hope for a brighter future. As for me, I continued my duty as a police officer in Florida, never forgetting the night I received a midnight report from the abandoned amusement park. It taught me that even in the darkest of nights, there can be moments of light and warmth, and that sometimes an act of kindness can change a life forever.